Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Kentucky State Fair Market Cattle Show. We've got steers and heifers both. I have 11 o'clock, and we're ready to get started. We have Class 1 to the ring, please. AOB purebred steers. I'd like to introduce our judge this morning, Mr. Harlan Yoakum from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Harlan graduated from Oklahoma State and runs his family ranch with his wife Kara and 4 children, Finley, Ramey, Tripp, and Conley. Family shows cattle and goats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Harlan Yoakum to the Green Shavings. Angus steers should be in the makeup ring. Angus steers should be in the makeup ring. Taylor Moore, we need your AOV steer in the makeup ring. Check in, please.
Well, good morning. It is certainly very much my pleasure to be here today to sort through your market steers and showmanship later. And so we get started here this morning. We get a really nice pair of these Shorthorn marked steers, and a lot of similarities between these two cattle. Their pattern, their lines, their symmetry, I think is all really good. Two steers that are both very, very good in terms of their composition and their finish. I think they're both market ready. And we like that about them, just the small differences as we start to break them down and sort of. Our steer that we're going to lead off with that's going to end up being our champion, he is a little bit nicer and fresher from his front 1/3, from his shoulders forward. A steer that blends together back, probably a little smoother and neater. He's got a sharper, neater look, I think, when he hits the ring. And then as you start to study him in his shoulder and his front leg structure, I think he sets back with a little more angle in his shoulder. He sets down a little truer and neater in the way he wants to go to the ground from his in his front leg there. It gets out and goes really good. He's not overwhelming in terms of his body or mass, and that's kind of where the steer in second probably has the biggest advantage for me. If we're going to look to change our class winner, opening up a little bit in his rib cage, stouten him up when you get right in behind him. Love the center body of the young man steer. Just big old rib, soft made, good forearm steer, deep in his fore rib, soft and deep back through his rear rib and flank. He's a wide-chested, bold-sprung, dimensional type of a steer. I'd like to change him a little bit in the way he wants to come out of his shoulder and front leg. Gets a little more open, gets a little more splayed out. Like to set him down a little truer and neater as we're studying our very, very nice pair of steers. Congratulations to both our exhibitors. Great way to start the steer show.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Placings for AOB purebred steers class number 1, entry number 64 wins Brooklyn Thomas from Brandenburg, Kentucky. Second with entry 63, Reed Graves from Winchester, Kentucky. We're now showing for what reason?
single entry in this class, and young ladies brought us a very nice steer. Love the balance of this steer. As you get off the side, he proportions extremely well. He's nice and fresh in his front end, good in his top line. Love him from hooks to pins. He's got a nice level square hip laid into him, and then you go to the ground. That steer's got really good feet. He's good-footed, soft-footed, good moving, nice structured steer. Puts a lot of positives together. Congratulations here on our champion percentage AOB steer.
Your results from Class 1 percentage steers. Your winner is entry number 51, Taylor Moore, Nancy, Kentucky, weighing 1292. We're now showing Class 2 percentage steers. Entries 6, 5, and 7 to the ring, please. Wait, ask nicely, if you've got a scooter, please don't be riding them around the cattle in the barn here. Please park the scooters or take them outside and ride them on the gravel, please. Away from the cattle, please.
I apologize, I misspoke. They told me there was one. I thought she was a single entry. We turned it up here. A trio of three very, very nice show steers here in this class. All three of these steers kind of bring some good and positives, I think, to the lineup. And they all strike you as they come into the ring as pretty high quality. And it's fun to sort these kind here on the top of this class. And this one that leads off, he's awfully, awfully good. This is a very, very nice steer. Young man's done a tremendous job with him. His presentation's phenomenal, so fresh, very well presented type of steer. Love this calf as he comes in the ring and you study him on the move. I mean, he's so nice at the ground. He's so fluid in a structural base, and the way he goes and the way he ties together is so smooth and correct. And still one, you get in behind him. This steer offers as much power as anything in the class. He's big over the top side of his skeleton, over his rib and loin. Love that hip structure, big old wide stout hip. He's got some bone to add to it. Very well balanced. Nice, nice steer. Congratulations, young man, on a nice calf here to win this class. Steer that's come in second and third, you got a little more give and take. And like I said, but still both these steers I think are really good. The gold one, from his shoulders back, he's a bold sprung, big ribs, stout, powerful steer that's got muscle and shape. You just like to change him right there in his shoulder and his front leg. Bring him in just a little bit truer, set him down just a little squarer and neater, and smooth him up just a little bit. But I do like him from there back because I think there is more product, there's more dimension, there's more power in that steer than what we find in the black steer we complete the class with. And young man, don't take away from anything. You got into a really, really tough class here because this steer here is awfully nice. From a balance and profile and pattern standpoint, I think he's very, very good. I think he pairs up a lot with our class winner. He's a lot smoother on his shoulder. I think he's a little more correct in the way he sets down in his front end structure. He just gets a little flat for me. You get him behind him, he's flatter ribbed. He wants to shallow a bit to his flank. I don't see quite the muscle dimension or power that we find in either one of the calves, particularly the gold steer that stands ahead of him. Very nice trio, super high quality, well presented, stout, powerful, nice steer there to win the class.
Thank you, Judge Oldham. Results from Class 2 AOB percentage steers. Your winner is entry number 7, Colton Kearns, Union, Kentucky, weighing 1389. Second place, entry 6, Emily Carson from Beattyville, Kentucky, weighing 1361. Third place, entry 5, Hudson Beckett from Brooksville, Kentucky, weighing 1365. We're now showing a single entry here. This is Class 3 of AOB percentage steers. We will show for AOB percentage steer champion after we weigh this Class 3 steer. That will be next.
Single entry in our heavyweight class, and you talk about a powerhouse. He's big topped, just massive when you go to handle him over his rib and loin there. A super stout, powerful hip steer that's got tremendous amount of shape, and still for one that's got that kind of muscle and power and product, you get off the side, boy, he's nice necked and clean chested and ties really good in the top side of his shoulder. He blends back really well. We could change him a little bit the way he comes out of his hip and down to his hind leg structure when we get him in motion, but very nice heavyweight steer. A lot of power, a lot of mass, a lot of muscle working all the way through. Nice one to bring back here in a moment for our champion AOB drive.
Congratulations. In Class 3 AOB percentage steers, your winner is entry number 39, Xander Brown from Guston, Kentucky. Steer weighs 1585. As soon as we get that steer weighed, we will show for champion AOB percentage steer. exhibiting for AOB champion steers here out of class number 1. We had entry 51 done by Taylor Moore from Nancy, Kentucky. Your winner out of class 2 was Colton Kearns, entry number 7 from Union, Kentucky. And then winner out of class 3, entry 39, Xander Brown, Guston, Kentucky.
Well, if you would please put your hands together. Let's congratulate our first set of class winners and our second out here at our champion AOB drive. Very competitive set of steers as we work through them. 3 very good classes. I think you find some cow you like some parts and pieces about each one of them. I think they all got some pretty good feet underneath them. They got some muscle shape and power to them. So we bring them back out here. To me, there's one steer. He's a standout. I think he's super high quality. Just shows you a lot of the things that make a show steer what he is, and it's tough to put all those into one package. He's so fresh. He's so good in his look, and then he adds all that kind of power and bone and substance into a very good balance, very good structural package. Your steer out of your second class, the young man has to be your champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations, your champion. AOB percentage steer comes out of class 2, entry 7, sold by Colton Kearns, Union, Kentucky. We now need Emily Carson's
as we pull in that second place, equally as tough decision. And young lady, I don't want to take anything away from your lightweight steer because he's a very nicely patterned, a good line steer that I really, really like on the profile. Just lacks a little bit of the extra power and muscle, I think, to compete with the 2 heavier steers behind him. And to me, that's where your decision lies, is between these 2. And they're both pretty good muscled steers. They're both pretty powerfully made steers. Just one of them's probably a little neater in his look, a little stouter maybe in the way that he's built down his top line. He's a little bolder in his rib and loin. He's a little stouter in his upper hip. But certainly the other one I like is rib cage and body. There's give and take between both of them. But today, I like the heavyweight steer. He'll be a reserve champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations, your reserve AOB percentage steer comes out of class 3, entry 39, shown by Xander Brown from Guston, Kentucky. We're now showing Angus steers will be next. Angus steers will be next. We got to do top 3. Third place will be the second place steer out of class 2, shown by Emily Carson. Entry 6 will be third.
So we get started here, our Angus steer show. A really interesting, nice top pair of steers on the top of this class. They're very similar in their type and kind. Both of them on the profile, you like their length, their levelness, ultra smooth cattle. Very well presented steers, I think, here today as we start to study them. Differences between them are class one, a tremendous body. His rib cage, he's better in his forerib. He remains deeper back through his rear rib and flank. I think that really helps his proportions and balance in the end. And then from a muscle standpoint, he's the stouter one of the pair. He's heavier bone steer that's probably got a little more shape right over the top side of his skeleton there. I'm not going to say he's got any more hip and quarter into him than the steer that comes in a second, but I do think he's got more back laid in him in terms of real muscle shape and genuine thickness as you start to study him there. And then you combine that with the extra body, his bone, movement, structure, I think he becomes your class winner. Steering second's really close. I think if you can stouten his bone work up just a notch, I think he becomes a very, very stronger contender. I think it gets to be a really close pair because to me, just my initial impression, would like the steer. He's up-fronted, neat and attractive in his look, a steer that's got some shape when you get right in behind him. He just lacks a little bit of the extra bone work. And then the longer we study him, he gets just a notch tighter in his forerib. He's not as deep right there in his forerib and not as smooth in the way he comes out of his shoulder and doesn't quite blend together as nice. Throws his balance off. Young lady's got the carcass steer of the class, and I wouldn't argue with you one bit if you wanted to say, hey, there's the heaviest muscle one, because he probably is. He is probably the steer that combines the most positives when we talk about a yield grade, quality grade combination, having muscle and shape and finish. His problems come to us more from just a balance and look standpoint. He's a smaller statured steer. He's a little plainer in his look. Doesn't have near the balance and just attractiveness of those top two steers, but a very good carcass-oriented steer to complete the class.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results from Class 4 Angus steers. Your winner, entry number 12, sown by Seth Chuglow from Hereford, Kentucky, weighing 1380. Second place was number 14, exhibited by Mason Toll, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, weighing 1450. Third place was entry 13, Noah Nunn from Upton, Kentucky. Her steer weighed 1425. We're now showing Class 5 Angus steers, 2 entries. We'll show for Angus champion steer next, followed by percentage Charolais.
got a couple of steers in our heavyweight class, and I don't know if we'll see a pair of steers like this all day that are this close and this similar in their build and their kind and the pieces that they put together. I mean, both these cattle obviously perform very, very well for the young man. Both these cattle, I think, reached market weight where they're supposed to. They're market ready. They both handle very good in terms of their softness, smoothness, mellowness of handle. I think their muscle pattern's a lot the same. Steer we lead off with, and I just get down to just trying to sort him on the small things. I think he's a little better through his front 1/3. I think the steer's got a little nicer, more attractive head set on him. I think he sets a little higher from the top of his shoulder into his neck there. I think he blends back just a little bit smoother and neater. And I do think that he is just a notch stouter right in behind his shoulders there when you start to really study him there. I think he remains a little stronger. I think he's got a notch more shape right there. I like him when he gets on the move. I think he sets down with a little more attractive set to the hind leg. As opposed to our steer in second. But two very, very close pair here as we start to study him. Just some small things. I think the sort of steer in second, I do think, young man, you've got the better bodied steer. He's a big rib steer. He's a bold sprung steer. I like the softness that he has and he offers. I like to make him just a little thinner in his neck. He gets a little thicker at the base of his neck. He's got a notch more chest. He wants to get a little easy right in behind his shoulders and maybe not quite as attractive in the way he sets down off his hind leg. But two very, very nice steers here just in terms of length, body, substance, muscle, performance. Two very nice Angus steers here in our heavyweight class.
Thank you, Judge Oakham. Results from number 5, Angus steers. Your class winner is number 10, exhibited by Noah Adams from Nicholasville, Kentucky, weighing 1530. Second place was entry number 11, shown by Owen Adams from Nicholasville, Kentucky, weighing 1540. As soon as we get these steers weighed, we're going to show for champion Angus steer, reserve, and third. While we're waiting on the steers, for those of you that come in late, I'd like to introduce our judge again. Our judge is Mr. Harlan Yoakum from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. He graduated from Oklahoma State University. He runs a family ranch there with his wife, Kara, and 4 children, Finley, Ramey, Tripp, and Conley. And the family shows cattle and goats. So welcome to Mr. Harlan Yoakum as our steer and heifer judge in the market show today. We're now showing for champion Angus steer out of Class 4. We have class winner Seth Klunglow from Harrisburg, Kentucky. And out of Class 2, we have Noah Adams from Nicholasville, Kentucky. This is champion Angus steer.
Well, as we'll work our way into our next breed here for our champion Angus, another nice group of steers to work through, a couple good, very good classes had some competition in him. As we bring him back out here, our Class 1 winner, just a tremendous bodied steer. You love the rib cage, body volume, and depth that he offers. He's a steer you start to study from a muscle standpoint. He's got shape. He's got thickness to him. Very good in terms of market readiness in his look, great in his structure. I think you just start to study him just on the profile. Comes back out here very fresh. Nice steer there that won that first class. We just got done talking our heavyweight steers, and we had a pair of steers that were very similar in their type and kind. And a steer out of that class, once again, high performing, long bodied, love the length and extension this steer offers. Another steer that's got some muscle volume as you study him all the way through. May not be quite as expressive in his muscle shape as what we find in our Class 1 winner, but that steer does have muscle. He's got a lot of volume, a lot of dimension working through him. He gets just a little bit frailer in terms of his bone work relative to our class winner there. Maybe not quite as sharp in his overall look that we see on the profile, but there's give and take between both of these steers. Let's congratulate them, give them a big round of applause. We'll go out and select your champion reserve Angus at this time.
Congratulations. Your champion Angus steer comes out of Class 4. It's shown by Seth Chuglow from Harrodsburg, Kentucky, steer weighing 1380. We need Mason Toll. Congratulations. Out of the same class, Class 4, Mason Toll with your reserve champion Angus steer from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Third place will be lot number 10, Noah Adams from Nicholasville. We're ready for Class 6, percentage Charolais steers. To the ring, please. Lot 17 and 18. Two classes of Charolais steers. Then we go to Keenina steers. This is Class 6 in the ring.
So we get in and start our Charolais show. A very, very challenging pair of steers for me here in this lightweight class. And, where they're good, they're both very, very good. I think, get comfortable. Both of them have some issues, that I think we need to talk about, need to be changed a little bit to really become that comfortable class winner. But in the end, we are judging market steers, and I do land on the young man steer that we lead off with. And just from a sheer body type, muscle, and power standpoint, he overwhelms the steer behind him. He's a bigger forearm. He's a wider, bolder, stouter, thicker steer. He's got way more top shape, thickness and dimension down his top, through his hip and quarter, no doubt about it. Here's a steer that's going to rib with the larger eye. Here's the steer that's more apt to grade choice and one that's got a softer, mellow handle to him. And on top of that, I do like the way this calf's built. I like his rib cage. I like his body volume and depth and flank and softness. I just wish we could just change him in his hip and his hind leg set, particularly right there in his pasture, just set him down a little more comfortable, a little easier to watch him go as he gets out and goes, because then I think we could find just a real easy, very comfortable class winner. But he doesn't need to be changed there. But he is got more of the market qualities. He's got more muscle. He's got more power, dimension, and substance to him here to win this class. Steering second, I really wanted to like him when he come in because he's got a nice look to him. He's a fresh steer. He's a trimmer, sleeker made steer. It's good in his top line. He's level in his hip. But, he too, we could change just a little bit in his structure and the way he sets down. He wants to get a little straighter in his hock. And so the longer we study him, I'd like to change both of them structure a little bit. This steer's the prettier, nicer, balanced steer. I think when you get on the profile, he's shallower. I'd like to make him a little softer, a little more market readiness. And then a steer, we get him behind him. He wants to get a little flatter, a little narrower. He's not quite as stout and as powerful from a muscle standpoint. It's our class winner. Nice pair of steers, an interesting pair to sit there and study and evaluate and go back and forth in their differences.
Results from Class 6 percentage Charolais steers. Your winner is entry number 18, shown by Bronx Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky, weighing 1310. Second place in that class was entry number 17, shown by William Hardesty, Brandenburg, Kentucky. It weighed 1250. We're now showing Class 7s coming in. Second class of percentage Charolais steers.
Here in this trio of steers, we got a leader in this class, and he wins hands down, no question about it. He's the most striking steer as he hits the ring. So well presented, so fresh and attractive and neat in his look. You love the side profile that he gives you and the way he ties together. He's so good in his lines and smooth in the way he blends together. And then you get him on the move and in motion. That steer's awesome in terms of his structural base. The way he gets out and goes, so strong and true off of both ends of his skeleton. Still one's got plenty of muscle and stoutness. Really like the stoutness in his upper hip, width of his pins, and shape he gives when you come right in behind him. That's a very, very nice steer there. Easy winner in this class. Next pair of steers, probably a little plainer in their look. They both got some muscle and stoutness. They're just a little coarser and piecier. I thought the gray steer probably had just a notch more genuine shape to him. I think he's just got a little more upper shape when you get right in behind him in his hip and down in his quarter. He's a heavy-boned steer. Like I said, just a little coarser in his shoulder, a little stiffer in his movement, but still that steer's got a lot of power, substance, and width to him there to come in second. Golden steer that we complete the class with, a little slicker in his hair coat, but that's more a description, nothing negative about him, but more importantly, he just gets a little plainer, not as well balanced. He gets a little heavier up through his front 1/3, doesn't have the proportions from there back. He's still one that you really like the body. He's a big rib, soft made steer. Obviously, he's easy doing, got some growth and performance to him, just not quite enough show ring look, I think, to compete in that class. Very nice trio of steers, very high quality. Love the balanced look and the profile of our class winner.
Thank you, sir. Results from Class 7, percentage Charolais steers. Your winner is entry number 21, shown by Brooks Peterson from Nancy, Kentucky, weighing 1389. Second place was entry number 20, shown by William Howard from South Shore, Kentucky, weighing 1450. And third was entry 19, shown by Ella Howard from South Shore, Kentucky, weighing 1370. As soon as we get these steers weighed, we'll come back and show for champion, reserve, and third place percentage Charolais steers like that. Next will be Keenina's. Showing for champion out of class number 6, we had entry number 18, shown by Box Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky. And out of class 7, your class winner was entry 21, shown by Brooks Peterson, Nancy, Kentucky.
Just 2 classes in this breed division, and you got a real stout, powerful, good-bodied steer to win that first class. He's great in terms of his muscle shape and thickness as you study him. So we talked him there in class, that pair, it was tough for me because they were so different, their type and kinds, and both had some issues. Still like to change that steer in the way he sets down off his hind leg, particularly down in his pastern. But, boy, that calf's got a lot of width, a lot of power, a lot of muscle working all the way through him. He's as heavy muscled steer as we got out here in the drive. Just has that issue when you get him on the move. Gold steer, we just talked, tremendous in terms of his look. You love the balance. He's the silhouette and the one you could look at all day long because of how attractive his head is, nice in his neck, ties high into his shoulder. Calf blends incredibly good. And I probably like him the most as we get him in motion. You know, a calf that gets out and goes and has those kind of feet underneath him and flexes and reaches so well. Everything stays collected. He's so balanced, I think, in motion. You really have to appreciate about him. Two very nice steers. It's pretty easy for me. This dark gold steer out of the heavyweight class, he'll be your winner today. Congratulations.
Congratulations, your champion percentage, Charolais, out of class number 7, entry 21, shown by Brooks Peterson from Nancy, Kentucky, weighing 1389. We now need entry number 20, William Howard. Congratulations, your reserve champion comes out of class 6, entry 18, shown by Bronx Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky. And your third place steer, entry number 17, shown by William Hardesty from Brandenburg, Kentucky, weighing 1215. Congratulations. Keenina's will be next. Keenina's will be next. We now have class 7 Keenina steers coming to the ring, entries 31 and 29. We have 2 classes of Keeninas, and then we'll be into Herefords. Herefords will be next.
Here in our lightweight key class, couple of steers, really not quite to their end point. Neither one of them are market ready enough to really say market steers, but both of them are very good cattle that's got a lot of positives in them, and certainly ones that can feed on and go to another show somewhere and probably be pretty competitive once they finally kind of get there. And we're going to leave them the way that they're lined up right here. Young lady in front, she's got the show steer of the pair. He's just so attractive and neat in his look. Love the balance and freshness, very well presented. He's a muscular steer. He's got a big top. He's thick-ended when you get behind him. a lot of shape. That one's going to be a fun one to continue to feed and watch him grow and develop as he becomes heavier in weight and more market ready. Steer in second, he's probably the one that is just even thinner in terms of his finish than the steer that stands right ahead of him there. He's a steer that's long-necked. He's extended in his profile. He like the length of body he has. Both these steers, I think, are good at the ground in terms of their structure, in terms of their feet and legs, and I like the looseness this calf offers. He's just a little narrower, a little flatter, a little more immature looking. Steer just simply needs some more time on feed. Nice pair of steers, very attractive, very heavy and muscled steer to lead off.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results from class number 7, Keenina steers. Your winner, entry 29, Kyra Moore from Fountain Run, Kentucky, weighing 1135. Second place was entry number 31, Macy Shelton from Paris, Kentucky. Her steer weighed 1075. Now we have class 8, 5 entries in this class, Keenina steers.
Put your hands together and give him a big round of applause. Exceptional class here. A lot of fun to sort, a lot of fun to evaluate these, and obviously spent some more time. We got a few more numbers, but more importantly, I think you get a top end of these cattle. They're exceptionally good and very, very high quality and have a lot of good into them. And I like these top three. They all three hit me pretty hard when they come into the show ring. I think all of them are very high quality show steers with the right kind of look of balance. I think they got some muscle to them, and then from there, there's just differences about them. I'm going to leave them the way my first impression was, and that's with the young man steer. Go ahead and peel him off and walk him. This steer here is incredibly good in terms of a muscle shape and power standpoint. He's wide-chested. He's opened up in his skeleton. That steer is so dimensional down his top. He's got a big old stout hip. He's wide-pinned. He's square at the ground. When you study him, go away. And a steer, at times, he can get just a little bit awkward in the way he wants to go, but when he finally relaxes and gets out and goes, that calf does move and get out and go very, very nice off of both ends of his skeleton. I really, really like him from that standpoint. You could set him down. You could just maybe bring him in just a notch in his shoulder. He wants to open up just a nickel there, and you could bring him in just a little bit to kind of smoothen him up there, but boy, that's hard to do when you got that much power and that much dimension. Young lady here in second does a tremendous job. She hung in there. Calf wasn't always wanting to cooperate, and that was part of the reason I wanted to walk him again, was to get him spun around facing this way. He just never wanted to relax looking that way, and you get that calf relaxed, and he's a nice steer. A lot of look, a lot of balance. He's good at the ground. He's got good bone. He's got good dimension to his body. I know he's hot, but that steer does get just a little bit weaker in his top line. He's not quite as stout right in behind his shoulders. He's not as opened up in his forerib as our class winner is, and then he does want to get just a nickel tight in the way that he wants to get out and go. Not really saying either one's better than the other structurally, but I'm just making more descriptions. But I would like to open that steer up in his forerib, give him a little more strength at top as we start to study him. Two very, very nice steers. Young people can be very, very proud of what you did there. You got two high-quality steers here in this key class. Young lady in third. This steer could probably win a lot of classes that we'll see throughout the day, I'm sure of it, because he pairs up in terms of balance with those other two steers. His profile, he's probably nicer fronted. From his shoulders forward, he's probably a little smoother and neater than either one of our top two steers. I love his pattern. I like his lines, but the steer just falls out a little bit when we start to compare him. He's not as big a bone. He's not as powerful in his makeup. More importantly, we get him behind him. Here's a steer that just gets a little flatter. Flatter in his rib shape, flatter in his muscle shape. He's not as stout and as powerful as those top two, but a very high quality, very good steer. Awesome looking steer the young man's brought us to come in fourth. You talk about a long-necked, high-tying, attractive, neat-looking steer that's got a square hip and attractive set to his hind leg. Boy, he's got it. Steer that needs a little more time as far as finish. I think he's just a notch thin. To me, I don't think he has that market readiness look. And he's a steer that just doesn't have the overall width and substance that we find. Steer that we complete the class with is bigger bodied. He is boulder sprung. He is more market ready than the steer ahead of him. His problems are more from a balance standpoint, shorter neck, quicker made, steer that struggles just a bit as he wants to get on the move. He wants to swing and get outside of himself off them hind legs. But very, very nice class, exceptional top pair. Love the power, the top shape, and the stoutness of hip of our class winner.
Thank you, sir. Results from Class 8, Keenina steers. Your winner was entry number 27, shown by Brox Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky. The steer weighed 1375. Second place was entry number 32, shown by Hadley Webb, Greenup, Kentucky, weighing 1389. Third place was entry number 30, shown by Laura Ann Pettit from Flemingsburg, Kentucky, weighing 1419. Fourth place was entry 25, Kobe Cooper from Mayslick, Kentucky. His steer weighed 1375. Fifth place was entry number 26, Nathaniel Fries from Catlettsburg, Kentucky. His steer weighed 1375. We're now going to show for champion, reserve, and third place Keenina steers. Herefords will be next. We're now showing for champion Keenina steer. Out of Class 1 was entry number 29, shown by Kyra Moore from Fountain Run, Kentucky. And your winner out of Class 8, entry 27, shown by Bronx Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky.
Another good breed to work to. Very, very competitive. I think, Seth, as we bring them back out here and think about the two classes. Obviously, the lightweight steer, we had a couple of them steers. We talk about them probably not quite being to their real end point, but boy, that's a high-quality steer. He's got a great look to him. He's so well presented. Young lady's done a fabulous job getting him ready here today. And I love the look, and I just really think she ought to be excited what that steer's got the potential to do down the road because he's so good in his balance and has got some muscle shape. Just not quite there today. And we bring him out here and light him with our heavyweight. And I'll be honest, it's not much of a competition because I think there's two of them steers out of that heavyweight class that are awfully good. We're going to keep them together, respectively, champion and reserve here in your key division.
Congratulations. Your champion comes out of Class 8, Keenina steers, entry 27, shown by Bronx Holloway, Olmsted, Kentucky. Your reserve champion. Also out of Class 8 was entry 32, shown by Hadley Webb from Greenup, Kentucky. And in third place, we're bringing Lauren Pettit out of Class 8 to show for third place, Keenina steer. Third place in the Keenina steers will be entry number 30, shown by Lauren Pettit, Flemingsburg, Kentucky. We're ready for Herefords. Herefords will be next. We got a show for Kentucky Proud. Is that it? Okay. Herefords, this is class number Number 8, Herefords, 3 entries, 35, 36, 38. We have 2 classes of Herefords, a single entry in the next class, then Main-Anjou.
good Hereford trio of steers, a competitive group, but I think in the end it becomes pretty logical. You got the best balance, best proportioned steer, I think, to lead off the class. The profile of this steer just proportions out so well because he is so good bodied. He's the best bodied steer. He's the softest, deepest in his flank. You study the steer, his top line's really good, comes back to a very level square hip, still handles very nice and mellow. Steer's got a good top shape to him, get him on the move. Here's the best structured steer, one that really gets out and goes off of either end. Just combines a whole lot of positives. I think in the end that's the most complete, very, very good steer there to lead off with. Steer in second's got his class advantages. Here's the most up-headed steer. He's cleaner in his chest. He's a longer neck steer. He's a trimmer-made steer. I'm not going to say that he's probably not a notch higher cut ability than our class winner, but at the same time, he gives up some extra body. He wants to shallow back through his flank. I don't see as much bone and stoutness and dimension in that calf that we find in our class winner. But a very stylish, attractive, nice-fronted, muscular, expressive steer there to come in second. Steer we complete the class with. Another steer's got good feet underneath him. He's a long-bodied steer. He's extended and good in his top line. A steer that's the flattest and narrowest. He's the lightest muscled steer of the class, but still yet a steer that's plenty good in terms of his structural design, his looseness of skeleton, here to complete the class.
Thank you, Judge Oakham. Results from Class 8, Hereford Steers. Your class owner was entry 35, shown by Will Beckley, Irvin, Kentucky. Steer weighed 1260. In second place was entry number 38, shown by Tyler Young from Hardensburg, Kentucky. Steer weighed 1265. And third place was entry number 36, shown by Easton Fuqua from Owensboro, Kentucky. 1260 the weight of the steer. This is Class 9 Hereford Steers in the ring. There is a single entry.
A stout, muscular steer, really big top, really big hip steer here to win this single entry class. Steer's got some good feet underneath him, got some bone work and stoutness in his feature. Be a nice steer. We'll bring our lightweight steer out here in just a moment for our champion lineup. Congratulations, young lady, on her class winner.
Congratulations out of Class 9 Hereford Steers, entry number 37, shown by Hannah Keith from Campbellsville, Kentucky. Steer weighs 1350. Champion Hereford Steer will be next. Can we get him weighed? Champion Hereford Steer will be next. Then Main-Anjou. And we're now showing for champion Hereford steer, reserve, and third place out of Class 8. Your winner was Will Beckley from Irvine, Kentucky, and your winner out of Class 9 was Hannah Keith from Campbellsville, Kentucky.
Got our two class winners out here. Lightweight steer, we talked to him. Super complete steer. I really like this steer from a structural standpoint. You study that steer right there, young man's getting him walk around. Just so true in the way he sets down out of both ends, gets out and goes. And then you get him stopped and you start to study him. His rib cage and body's just perfect for me. I love that kind of rib and body. His body type and size, I think it's really good. You know, is he the sharpest fronted? Some may say not, but for me, you know, he proportions out extremely well, and I think he balances good. Nice steers. We talked to him in that class and that lighter. The single entry steer, so we start to compare him, and he comes back out here. Obviously, he's a little bigger outline steer, big-footed, heavy bone, stout featured. I like his muscle shape. He handles good when you get your hands on him down his top. Difference to me is when we put him in motion, he doesn't set down as true. He doesn't set down as strong, particularly out of his hip and hind leg as our class winner there. And to me, that's the difference. Your lightweight here, he puts the most positives. He's your winner today. Congratulations to the young man.
Congratulations, your champion Hereford steer here at the Kentucky State Fair. Out of class number 8, entry 35, shown by Will Beckley, Irvine, Kentucky. His steer weighed 1260. We need Tyler Young in, please, for reserve. Congratulations. Out of Class 9, your reserve champion, entry 37, is Hannah Keith from Campbellsville, Kentucky. That makes your third place steer, entry 38, Tyler Young from Hardinsburg, Kentucky. Congratulations. We're now ready for Main-Anjou. 2 classes of mains. We have Class 11 Main-Anjou in the ring at this time. We have 2 classes of mains, and we go to Shorthorn Plus. Will be next.
We've got a pair of steers here in our first class of mains, and they're a little different. You got a bigger outline, longer, more extended steer to lead off with, but more importantly, that's a nice steer. There's a lot of product in this calf, and he's big top and big hip. He's got some bone to him, combines that with a really nice look, gets out and goes. That's a nice steer here to lead off and win this class. Young man, smaller statured steer here that comes into second. Another steer, got great big body. Love the rib cage, the depth, the volume, and the mass that he offers. Little frailer, little flatter, not quite as overwhelming in his muscle. More importantly to me, gets just a little bit plainer in his overall look. I think he loses out from a balance standpoint, but a tremendously big-bodied, soft-made, mellow handling steer to complete the class.
Thank you, sir. Results from Main-Anjou Steers Class 11. Your class winner was entry 44, shown by Cale Redmond from Guston, Kentucky. His steer weighed 1389. And in second place, entry number 45, shown by Michael Tohurst from Guston, Kentucky. His steer weighed 1330. We're now ready for Class 12, Main-Anjou. I misspoke. Red Angus will be next. That's my first mistake, so I'm allowed 7, I think. I'm a rookie on this job. We have Main-Anjou, the second class. Class 12 is in the ring. Red Angus will be next.
Another very good pair, probably a little closer pair than what I first thought when they come in. You get to handling them, you get to studying them, and both these steers have some give and take. And in the end, though, I feel the most comfortable, the one that brings the most positive. We're going to leave them the way they come in with the young lady up front here. A steer that you just absolutely love on the profile. Beautiful, attractive, well-balanced steer that really gets out and goes. He's a long-strided, fluid steer that's got good feed underneath him. Like a lot of things about this steer. He's a better bodied steer. He's softer and deeper back through his rear rib and flank, and to me, that's probably the biggest reason he ends up balancing so much better. But he's got a great hip, attractive hind leg, and still one that I think is way more inadequate in terms of his muscle shape. He's not as expressive. He's not as powerful, particularly right in behind his shoulders and down his top line as that steer in second, but way more than adequate, I think, to win the class. Steer that comes into second, he's a wider chested. He's more opened up in his skeleton. He is a bigger top steer. I love the shape in behind his shoulders. He's a muscular, expressive steer. He just wants to be just a little more rigid in the way he wants to travel off his hind leg. He wants to shallow back through his rear rib and flank. I don't see quite the balance. I don't see quite the structural correctness in that steer we find in our class winner. But a very, very good pair, a relatively close pair. I like the attractive balance and structural correctness of our class winner.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results from Class 12, Main-Anjou Steers. Your winner, entry number 43, Clara Beth Peterson from Nancy, Kentucky. Her steer weighed 1474. Second place was entry number 42, shown by Lindy Kaiser from Morning View, Kentucky. Her steer weighed 1498. We're now ready to show, as soon as we get them weighed, we're ready to show for champion, reserve, and third place, Main-Anjou. Red Angus will be next. Red Angus will be next. We're now showing for Main-Anjou champion steer here at the Kentucky State Fair. Out of Class 1, we got K.O. Redmond from Guston, Kentucky, entry 44. And out of Class 12, your winner was entry 43, Clara Beth Peterson from Nancy, Kentucky.
Very good breed. Two really good steers. They're a little different, I think, where their strengths come out to talk about them. The steer out of Class 1, he's the heaviest muscled steer. He's bigger forearm. That steer's got a tremendous amount of shape over the top side of his skeleton. Particularly, I can ride him behind his shoulders. That steer's bolder, thicker, wider, right there in his rib. Steer handles awesome in terms of his finish. You come back there and you can see that shape and turn back through his in his hip and his quarter. You step in behind him, a big old wide hip, really thick dimensional, a lot of volume of muscle. I love the shape of this steer. He combines that. That steer's really good in terms of his balance for me. I love the smoothness, correctness as we get him on the side. He's probably not quite as Big-footed is the steer that stands behind him. Steer that stands behind him is dropped down in his flank just a notch. He wants to come up just a tick, I guess, if you want to get nitpicky on him, and that's what we're doing out here because this is champion and this is close, and these are two very, very good steers. But I do like the muscle, I like the shape, I like the power, and he combines that in a very good package in terms of balance and proportions, I think, to win that first class. Steer in the second class, we talked to him. He's lights out, awesome to look at. He's tall-fronted, he's upstanding, he's long-necked. That steer's really extended in terms of his length of body. You go down to the ground, he's got big feet, he's heavy bone. Steer that's awesome in terms of his structural design and his movement as we study him. He's a good bodied steer. We just talked about his advantage being deeper back through his rear rib and flank. I think when you study him on the side profile, to me, his problem is when you get him behind him, steer's a lot more narrower down his top. He's narrower back through his hip and flattens in his quarter. I don't see the genuine shape of muscle and power from a composition standpoint as I do as a steer that stands right in front of him Class 1, but that's a very well-balanced, very well-presented, fresh steer I think we have out here. So give and take between these two. I like muscle. I like power. Your Class 1 steer, he's going to be your winner today. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Your winner of the Main-Anjou Steer Show here at Kentucky State Fair, entry 44, shown by Cale Redmond, Guston, Kentucky. We need Michael Tolhurst. Entry 45 in, please. Congratulations, your reserve champion out of Class 12, entry 43, Clara Beth Peterson, Nancy, Kentucky. We need a Brittany in entry 42 now to show for third. Lindy Kaiser, Morning View, Kentucky. Congratulations to Cale Redmond, champion Main-Anjou steer here at the State Fair. Clara Beth Peterson, reserve champion. Congratulations, third place Main-Anjou steer out of Class 12, entry 42, shown by Lindy Kaiser from Morning View, Kentucky. We're now ready for Red Angus. Red Angus will be next.
Weight red Angus steers, and a good pair of steers. Pair of steers probably need a little more time on feed just yet, only weighing a little over 11, but compositionally nice steers that have some muscle shape. I particularly like our steer we're going to lead off with. You get right in behind him. That steer's got a big hip. He's got a lot of thickness. I like how he carries his muscle down into his quarter, and I think that's his biggest advantage is just the additional shape. He's a boulder's rib, thicker ended, just a shapier kind of a steer that still has the right kind of balance and look and structure, I think, to win the class. Steering second is ultra smooth. He's a lot like him. I think he balances very well. His problems when you get behind him, a little flatter, a little narrower, not as much true dimension and power, I think, as we're stating compared to our class winner. But two really good steers. Love the muscle shape and rib shape of our class winner.
Thank you, sir. Results from Class 12, Red Angus Steers. Your winner, entry 48, shown by Hadley Campbell from Perryville, Kentucky. The steer weighed 1150. Second place was entry 49, also shown by Hadley Campbell, Perryville, Kentucky. That steer weighing 1100. Coming in the ring now, we have class number 14, two entries, 52 and 53. This is the final class of Red Angus. Then we'll show for champion Red Angus. Then we go to Simmental. Simmental will be after Red Angus.
Two nice heavyweight steers, and really like the stoutness of our class winner. That's a heavy bone, big hip, thick-ended steer to lead off the class with. You get off the side, he's still really nice necked and attractive fronted. If we're going to change him, we could square him up just a little bit from hooks to pins, particularly when he gets on the move and wants to drop them a bit, get a little awkward. But that's a heavy bone, stout-made steer there to lead off with. Another good steer that's got some positives in him. He's a very well-balanced steer. I like his rib cage, his body volume and depth. As we put him in motion, he does remain more collected and better in his hip and his hind legs set in motion. Just when we get behind him, a little flatter, a little narrower, lacks some of the extra muscle and power, we find our class winner. Nice pair of heavyweights.
Thank you, sir. Results of Class 14, Red Angus Steers. Your class winner, entry number 53, shown by Collins Tate from Hardinsburg, Kentucky. Collins steer weighed 1389. Second place was entry number 52, John Souter from Cynthiana, Kentucky. John steer weighed 1375. As soon as they get them weighed, we'll show for champion reserve and third place Red Angus steer. Simmental will be next. Simmental will be next. Entering the ring now, we're showing for champion Red Angus steer here at the Kentucky State Fair Market Cattle Show. Out of your Class 12 Red Angus, your class winner was entry 48, shown by Hadley Campbell from Perryville, Kentucky. And your winner out of Class 14 was entry 53, shown by Collins Tate, Hardinsburg, Kentucky.
Bring both our class winners back out here, and a great balanced steer out of that lightweight division. So nice fronted, so smooth in the way he blends in terms of his pattern. Love the proportions in this steer. Gets out and goes really good. He's not quite as stout and powerful as our heavyweight steer, but boy, that steer balances well. That steer's really nice on the profile. Heavy bone, stout constructed, heavyweight steer. He's bigger top, he's thicker ended. He's just a more powerfully constructed individual, I think, as we compare him. He's not quite as smooth in the way he ties. He's open a little in his shoulder. He's not as square and level in his hip, but sure like his bone work, like his muscle, like his mass. I like the heavyweight steer today. He's going to be your champion.
Congratulations, your Red Angus champion steers out of Class 14, entry 53, shown by Collins Tate, Hardinsburg, Kentucky, weighing 1389. We need John Souter. John Souter from Cynthiana in, please. Congratulations, your reserve champion, Red Angus steer, entry 48, Hadley Campbell from Perryville, Kentucky. We now need Hadley's other steer to show for third place, please. Congratulations, out of Class 14, third place is entry 52, John Souter, Cynthiana, Kentucky, was third. Congratulations to our winners in the Red Angus show. We're now ready for Simmental. Simmental steers to the ring, please. Two classes. Again, please, no scooters in Broadbent, please. No scooters in Broadbent. If you're running up and down deal, we please ask that you don't do that.
Single entry start their Simmental show. Boy, a really good balanced steer, a good haired, well presented steer, big square hip, stout made, got some bone. Steer that's probably just a tick on the thin side. You'd like to see just a little more cover, a little further along to see him in terms of his market readiness. But boy, well balanced, well presented. Nice job, man. Congratulations on a class winner.
Thank you, sir. Your winner in Class 13 Simmental steers, entry number 56, shown by Ryland Hart from Falmouth, Kentucky. His steer weighed 1,200. Coming in now is Class 14 Simmental steers, entry 57 and 58. After Simmental, we will do those Shorthorn Plus.
Good pair of Simmental steers, and the painted up black and white one that we lead off with. He's the showier, really got a lot of presence to him here in this class to win. Not only is he a big top, big stout square hip steer that's really good looking, but also one that just puts a lot of proportions together, balance together in pieces. I like this steer. He's fresher, nicer in his front end. I think he's leveler back to his hip structure, longer from hooks to pins. He sets down with a more attractive set to his hind leg relative to our black steer and second. Black steer and second's got a lot of muscle, a lot of shape. He's big top. He's thick-ended. You can see the shape and turn of muscle back through his hip and quarter. He's a good-bodied steer. He's bold-sprung and deep-flanked and soft. He gets a little bit thicker necked, a little coarser shouldered. We could square him up in his hip structure, make him just a little nicer in the way that he sets down on his hind leg from an eye appeal standpoint. But you talk about a good, functional, wide-chested, bold-sprung, thick-ended steer that's got muscle, shape, and finish. That's a very, very nice second-place steer here in our Simmental show. Congratulations, both exhibitors in our Simmental heavyweight class.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results from Class 14 Simmental steers. Your class winners, entry 58, shown by Case Redmond, Guston, Kentucky. Case's steer weighed 1385. Second place in Class 14 was entry number 57, shown by Bailey Miller from Greenup, Kentucky. Bailey's steer weighed 1325. As soon as they get them weighed, we will show for champion Simmental steer. We'll now have Shorthorn Plus will be next. Shorthorn Plus will be next. In the ring now, we're showing for champion Simmental steer here at the Kentucky State Fair. Out of class 13 was entry 56, shown by Rylan Hart, Falmouth, Kentucky. And first in class 14 was Case Redmond from Guston, Kentucky. Second in that class was Bailey Miller from Greenup.
Here for our champion, Simmental Drive, lightweight steer. We talked to him, real fresh, very well presented, attractive steer. You love the balancing. Probably not quite there in terms of being market readiness and his finish and his composition. We'd like to just get him a little further along. But boy, that calf's got an awful good look, very well presented, nice haired steer to come back out here in our lineup. The black and white steer, we just talked him, so good on the profile, so good from a look standpoint, a stoutness standpoint. That's an awfully nice show steer. We're going to keep our two heavyweights together here, first and second. They'll be champion and reserve. Congratulations to our Simmental exhibitors.
Congratulations, your champion Simmental steer comes out of class 14, entry number 58, shown by Case Redmond, Guston, Kentucky. Reserve champion Simmental steer out of the same class, entry number 57, shown by Bailey Miller, Greenup, Kentucky. And third place will be entry number 56, shown by Rylan Hart, Falmouth, Kentucky. Congratulations, Simmental exhibitors. We're now ready for Shorthorn Plus. We have three small classes of Shorthorn Plus, then we go to Crossbreds. After Shorthorn Plus will be Crossbreds.
Young ladies brought us a nice blue roan steer here to win this class. In this particular breed is again the Shorthorn Pluses. Nice neck steer, a steer that gives you a really good look. I think when you step off to the side of him, he's still one that's got some muscle shape. He's got some thickness to him as well. Great bodied steer. Really love the rib cage in him. Soft and deep back through his flakes. Proportions out well. Nice single entry class winner. Congratulations to the young lady.
Thank you, sir. Results of class 16 Shorthorn Plus steers. Entry number 67, Haley Cooper wins the class from Verona, Kentucky. Steer weight 1105. We have class 17, two entries in class 17 into the ring, 70 and 68.
here in this particular class. We're going to leave them the way they come in this middleweight Shorthorn Plus division. The dark red steer, I think we lead off with him. First and foremost for me, he just steps out there and he goes so much easier. He's a better footed steer. He's more correct in his hip and his hind leg structure. He particularly sets down truer and stronger off of his hind leg. And then as we get him to the standstill, I think that steer balances proportions better because he is a little better bodied and deeper flank. And genuinely, I think he's more genuine in his composition, his shape of muscle, his trimness. He is the higher cut ability steer of the pair. No doubt about it, the steer in second, he's long-bodied, he's level-topped, he's square-hipped. I'd like to change in the way he sets down off his hind leg. He wants to roll a little bit out of his hock. He's a steer that shallows back through his rear and flank from a balance standpoint. And then carcass-wise, that steer's probably pushing the upper limits in terms of acceptability and finish. We'd like to trim him up, make him just a little more shapelier in terms of the way he looks in his muscle pattern. But nice pair of steers. Really like the balance, the structure, and the trimness of our steer that wins.
Thank you, sir. Results from Class 17 Shorthorn Plus steers. Your winner, entry number 70, exhibited by Hadley Wilson from Nicholasville, Kentucky. Steer weight 1175. And second in that class was entry 68, Ella Graves, the exhibitor from Winchester, Kentucky. Her steer weighed 1215. We're now on Class 18. Final class of Shorthorn Plus, and then we will, as soon as we get them weighed, we will show for champion, reserve, and third in the Shorthorn Plus. Then we go to Crossbreds.
Well, in our heavyweight class, we may only have one, but we've got an awfully good one out here. This is a very nice steer. Puts a lot of the things that I really particularly like into a package. Not only is he just striking and well presented and hits the ring with a lot of presence, but boy, he is a stout, powerful, big top, big hip steer with the right kind of bone structure. Movement's good. Just an awfully good calf. Congratulations, young lady. Nice steer here to win this class.
Thank you, sir. Results from Class 18 Shorthorn Plus. Your winner, entry 69, Clara Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky. Her steer weighed 1390. As soon as they get Clara's steer weighed, we will come back and show for champion, reserve, and third place in Shorthorn Plus. We're now showing for Shorthorn Plus, champion reserve and third place steers. Out of your class 16 Shorthorn Plus, winner was entry 67, shown by Haley Cooper from Verona, Kentucky. Out of class 17, your winner was exhibited by Hadley Wilson from Nicholasville, Kentucky, entry number 70. And out of the final class, in class 18, your winner's entry 69, Claire Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky.
Two steers in this division. The red steer, we talked him in that particular class, and the steer that's got some balance and some shape and some look to him. Certainly very, very good in the structural design. He doesn't have near the power, the mass, or substance the steer that stands behind him. That heavyweight steer, we talked about him. He's pretty exceptional. That's a high-quality one. A lot of things to like about him. So fresh, so good in his look and his presence. Still one that's got plenty of power. Heavyweight steer. He'll be your champion here today. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Clara Holloway from Olmsted, Kentucky, with your champion Shorthorn Plus steer, entry 69, weighing 1390. So we just got that one left. Reserve champion will be entry number 70, shown by Hadley Wilson from Nicholasville, Kentucky, weighing 1175. And third place will be out of class 17. Second place, animal entry number 68, shown by Ella Graves from Winchester, Kentucky. Congratulations to our Shorthorn Plus exhibitors. Crossbreds. Crossbreds will be next. All right, we're ready for crossbred steers. Class 17. We should have 5 entries in this class. Weighing from 900 to 1149. Class 17 crossbred steers to the ring, please.
Very nice lightweight steer here to start our crossbred show off with. Great steer from the standpoint of structural correctness. It's great on his feet and legs. He gets and goes. Very, very good. Like the trueness, the fluid, the length of stride he offers. That steer's also great body, big ribs, soft made type steer. Still got some muscle and power and some shape to him. He's not the longest, freakiest neck steer in the world, but everything balances, proportions. His front end fits with the middle and back third of his body. That's a very nice steer. He's an easy winner, I think, here in this class for me. Second and third's kind of the pair of the class, and where you find the closeness, and you go back and forth. You got a couple of really muscular steers that's shapely and expressive in their muscle pattern. Both of them could be modified in a place or two. I like the length of body and extension of this steer in second, but most of all, he sets down just a little more comfortably from his hock to the ground in terms of his pasterns. He sets down with some softness. The steer behind him wants to knuckle up a little bit as he gets in motion. I think his steer just moves maybe just a tick better. He shallows through his flank. We could drop him down a little bit more maybe to make him better, but a muscular, expressive steer that's probably just a little better in his hind leg set than the black and white one. Black and white one's big top. He's thick-ended, expressive in the shape of his muscle. He's big forearm. He's a real stout-featured kind of a steer. Just wants to be a little high tail-headed, round hip, and just a little tight in his pasterns today. I'm not sure why. He just wants to get up. We just set him down, be a more competitive second-place steer. Next pair of the class on the other end, a couple of steers that obviously aren't quite there yet, but you do have one that's a little further along in terms of his growth pattern and maturity. He's long-spined, he's extended and loose skeleton, just not enough muscle shape or power. Really lighter weight steer to complete the class. Certainly one that's sound enough, correct enough, strong enough top and level enough. Just simply needs some more time on feed. Lighter, thin-made steer that just needs some more time to power up, stouten up, and grow and mature. Very nice class, really good structure, good body, good proportion steer on top to win.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results of Class 17 Crossbred Steers. Your winner, entry number 96, shown by Carter Redmond, Ekron, Kentucky. Carter steer weighed 1149. In second place was entry number 100, exhibited by Sarah Shields from Mayslick, Kentucky. 1145, the weight of the steer. Third place was entry number 82, shown by Caroline Maines from Falmouth, Kentucky, weighing 1100. In fourth place was entry number 74, shown by Ella Bush from Grayson, Kentucky, 1080, the weight of the steer. And in fifth place, number 79, Caden Hughes, the exhibitor from Ewing, Kentucky. Caden's steer weighed 900. We're now showing Class 18 Crossbred steer. We have 6 entries in this class, 6 entries.
young lady's got an easy class winner for me. He steps into the ring and he kind of takes over the class. It's certainly the soundest steer, the best footed, the best moving steer, and then you combine that with his body type and build. Big forearm, big ribs, stout made through his center body, and really like the depth of flank and softness. Looks like a fat steer, steer that's got some top shape, some hip and quarter to him. To add to that, to me, just an easy winner in here. After that, I think this class becomes pretty challenging. Some give and take on each one of these. The steer we have in second, I'll be the first to admit, I'd sure like to change him the way he sits down off his hind leg, but boy, after that, he is a show steer. He's attractive fronted, he's muscular top, he's got the right kind of thickness when you get in behind him, and boy, just has that real sharp, crisp, neat look, I think, when you get on the profile of him. Just doesn't quite have the go in him in terms of his hind leg set and structure, I think, to be a commanding class winner. But that's a nice, balanced, attractive, fresh-made steer. The young lady's done a nice job. Next pair of steers, you can flip-flop these, and I'm not going to argue with you one bit. Both these steers need to be changed just a little bit structurally in the way that they go. I do think that the gray steer is better in his shoulder and his front leg structure, sets down truer and more genuine at the ground. That's a good bodied steer. I like this one through his center rib. He's big fore-ribbed, he's bold sprung and soft and deep flank. I think in the end I like that advantage through his center body. On top of a steer that's got some top shape to him. Just need to change him right there in the way he wants to travel off his hind legs. Muscular, expressive steer that comes in next. And as I said, we can switch them back and forth because he is probably a little bit better in his top line. He probably does remain leveler out through his hip as he gets in motion. He wants to get a little open in his shoulder. He gets a little outside, gets a little wide up front, I guess, for me as you sit down and study him. And he's another one we need to change just a little bit as he's plenty straight off his hind leg as he travels as well. Next pair of steers on the other end of the class, the yellow and white spotted up steer. He is the sounder one. He's much more correct in the way he sets down out of his hock and hind leg, sets down true and genuine. Still a steer that's got some body and dimension to him. Obviously not overwhelming from the standpoint of balance or look, but functionality, that steer there, he works quite well, I think, to come into the spot in this class. The black steer is stronger topped, he's squarer hipped, he's leveler made. His problems come to us from a structural standpoint, really wanting to roll out of his hock really tight and straight in the way he wants to travel here today to complete the class.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results from class number 18, Crossbred Steers. Your winner, entry number 98, shown by Macy Shelton from Paris, Kentucky, weighed 1,245 pounds. Second place was entry number 87, shown by Addison McGlone from Grayson, Kentucky, weighing 1,200. Third place was entry 104, shown by Dominic Webb from Greenup, Kentucky, 1198 the weight of the steer. Fourth place was Kennedy McBurney from Campbellsburg, Kentucky, weighing 1,250. Fifth place was entry 109, Adam A. Williams from Elizabethtown, Kentucky, weighing 1,210. And sixth place was entry number 93, Brevin Pope from Greenup, Kentucky, weighing 1,226. We're now showing class number 19. We have 4 entries in this class. This is class 19 Crossbreds. Evan tells me after we get done with the market heifers, we will show for Kentucky Prouds. For you folks that are Kentucky Proud champions within the breeds, we will need you back after the market heifers, please, after the market heifers.
Very, very, very nice top pair of cattle here in this crossbred class. These two young people ought to be very proud. They got two high quality, good show steers. They're just a little bit different in a couple of areas. I landed on the Brockle face steer. Not only is he just so nice from a balance standpoint, striking, just hits the ring with all sorts of authority and attractiveness and neatness. He's better about his head. He's trimmer about his neck, particularly over the top side. He's not quite as cresty in the top side of his neck. Ultra smooth. You can't build one any smoother and neater from the side, and the way he blends from front to rear. And still a steer that when you get up on him, that steer's got a big back laid into him. He's bold-ribbed and thick-loined and powerful back through his hip. A steer that just everything kind of fits together. And then for me, we set him in motion. This steer's more comfortable in the way he comes out of his shoulder and his front leg. He definitely hits the ground softer and neater and more true off his hind legs than our steer that comes into second. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he is the heavier muscled one of the pair. I think the steer in second we'll talk in a moment's got some distinct class advantages, but I think his top shape and his muscle pattern and power combined with the smoothness, the balance, and the structure correctness, he wins the class for me. Steer in second's ultra powerful. He's big forearm. He is huge topped. I mean massive in terms of his muscle shape. I love the hip structure. I love the power when you get right in behind him. He's a wide quartered, thick, deep tying steer. It's got worlds of shape and muscle and power. He's big bone. But along with that, he wants to open up at his shoulder, become a little bit coarser. He's cresty over the top of his neck. Steer that wants to shallow back through his rear rib and flanking. And I can live with a lot of those things when you talk about one that's got that kind of power. But he is just a little bit more open in the way he sets down off his front end, and more importantly today, relative to when we compare him to that class winner. He wants to be just a little bit tighter hocked, a little harder hitting on this surface out here today, and a two very, very nice, high quality, good show steers. I just prefer the smoothness, the soundness, and the correctness of the Brockle face steer to lead off. Two good ones there. Congratulations. We get on the other side of the class, and two good functional market steers. They got some soundness and correctness about them. The Hereford mark steer's long-bodied. He's smooth. He's correct in terms of his finish, just a little bit plainer in his muscle, plainer in his look. Steer we conclude the class with another big-footed, sound-made, loose skeleton steer that's got plenty of length, plenty of performance to him. Once again, he gets a little plainer fronted. He doesn't have quite the balance as our top pair. And definitely when you get in behind him, I like to pull that steer apart, give him a lot more thickness, dimension, and true muscle shape all the way through. Very nice class, high-quality top pair.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Results from class number 19, Crossbred Steers. Your winner was entry number 90, shown by Kyra Moore from Fountain Run, Kentucky. Her steer weighs 13.05. Second place in that class, entry 110, Claver Wolf from DeMossville, Kentucky, weighing 13.11. Third place was entry 101, Sarah Shields from Mayslick, Kentucky, 12.95 the weight of the steer. And fourth place was entry number 85, shown by Autumn Maynard from Mayslick, Kentucky. Entry weighed 12.79. Now this is class 20 crossbreds. 5 entries, class 20 crossbreds in the ring now.
Another very good class, and this white-tailed steer, he's another runaway for me in this class. He comes in the ring, and there's no doubt about it, he's here to win the class. That's a very attractive, very fresh, very well-presented steer that's got a big top laid into him, handles extremely good now over his top. He's a big hip steer. He's wide pinned. He's very dimensional steer that ties together very good. You really, really have to appreciate the smoothness for that kind of power and substance, for one to tie together and be that smooth and that correct and have that kind of look. That's a very, very nice steer. High quality one. I like him a lot there to win the class. After that, we get some more give and take. The next pair of steers, I think you can flip-flop and go back and forth. I like the trimness and extra cutability offered in the black steer. He's a longer-necked, more up-headed, longer spine steer that combines that from the carcass standpoint. He's a more muscular, expressive steer that I think's trimmer, and I think just offers more cutability from that standpoint than the gray steer comes in next. The gray steer's got the right kind of body type for me. His soft-made, big-bodied look combined with that handle. He's very mellow in terms of his handle, but for me, he doesn't have quite on the other side of it. He lacks just a little extra shape. He gets a little bit plain when you study his muscle. He gets flatter over his top side. You get behind him, he's not as stout and square and powerful in his upper hip or his lower quarter as that steer that stands right ahead of him. But that's a good build kind of a steer. He's loose enough in his skeleton, great kind of rib shape, body volume, and depth. And that extra body is what really keeps him over the black steer. This black steer that the young lady has, she struggled with him, but she hung in there and I think done a nice job with him. He's long necked, he's level topped, he's square hipped. He's got some pieces to him if we could get some body in him. Because he's just a notch taller frame, he even appears a little bit shallower, but he is genuinely just a little bit tighter in his forerib, shallower in his body. Like to soften that steer up there to move him up. Steer we complete the class with is a softer made steer. He likes some of the extra shape. He likes some of the extra look, but that's a good body, loose skeleton, long bodied performance kind of a steer there to complete the class.
Thank you, sir. Results from Class 20, Crossbred Steers. Your winner in this class was entry 102, shown by Addison Simpson from Crittenden, Kentucky. Steer weighs 1385. In second place was entry number 80, Zyler Eimler from South Shore, Kentucky, weighing 1340. Third place was entry number 91, exhibited by Briar Osborne from Greenup, Kentucky, weighing 1356. Fourth was entry number 84, shown by Michaela Massey from London, Kentucky. And fifth place was exhibited 108, exhibited by Blake White, Falmouth, Kentucky, weighing 1330. This is Class 21 Crossbred Steers. This is the final class of Crossbreds. After this, we will show for champion Crossbred Steer, and that will be followed by Market Heifers. And then Kentucky Proud. Kentucky Proud after the Market Heifers. If you're a champion in Kentucky Proud, you'll need to be making your way back to the makeup ring. We've got this Crossbred class, one class of Market Heifers, and then we do Kentucky Proud champion.
nice class, a deep class, one of the deeper classes, I think, as we just start to study cattle that bring a lot of positives. But on the top of this class, kind of like the last one, we find us an easy winner. He hits the ring with that same kind of authority that he's here to win the class. He's heavy boned, he's stout constructed steer. He's got a big hip laid into him. He balances really well, a steer that's awesome in terms of his shape and expression when you get right in behind him on the top side of his skeleton. If I'm going to get on him, and I mean I'm not going to get on him too tough because he's an awfully nice steer, but he does want to flatten and funnel when you get right in behind him at the base of his quarter. He's a little narrower underneath as you study him go away from you from that standpoint, but he'll be a fun one to bring back just a moment. It's going to be a heck of a crossbred lineup here with all of our class winners. Next pair of steers, actually kind of the mixed trio of steers, but I kind of thought the black steers paired in the middle here, and I like this steer in his top line. I think he's a little stouter topped. I think he's got a little more hip and quarter to him, and then he still remains just a little bit truer in the way he sets down and moves off of his hind leg. No question that steer that stands behind him, he's heavy boned, he's stout constructed, gets a little easier in his top, rounder in his hip. We could change him in a couple of those areas there, but two pretty just nice, solid steers here in the middle of this class. I don't think either one of them got the ring presence, style, or freshness that we find in our class winner, but just stout, powerful, good kind of a cattle. Really nice there, second and third. The red steer's one I really wanted to like, and he's obviously just a little thinner hair, but just need to change him as he travels off of his hind leg. That's a robust, wide skeleton, big ribbed. He's got a ton of shape to the center part of his body in terms of his rib cage. He's just not really comfortable when he gets out and goes. Wants to get just a little bit tighter right there in his back and his spine. Like to relax him there, set him down a little truer off his hind leg as he goes. Another good kind of steer that's got some body and rib shape to him. Moderate frame, thick-ended steer that's got correct in terms of his degree of finish. He just lacks in the extra shape. He really gets narrowed down to his top, a little plainer in his overall muscle pattern. Steer that we conclude the class with, awesome in terms of his look, his neck and neck-shoulder attachment. A steer that we get him set up. You love the pattern of him. His problem today is just the way he's wanting to travel. Really struggling off of his hip and hind leg, particularly down his hock. He's plenty straight and tighter today. Very nice class, very deep class, high quality, very attractive, well-balanced one to win.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. Your results from Class 21 Crossbred Steers. Your winner, entry number 73, exhibited by Bailey Blevins from South Shore, Kentucky. Steer weighed 1399. Second place was entry number 89, shown by Sierra Miller from South Shore, Kentucky, weighing 1399. Third place was entry number 88, shown by Trey McGlone from Grayson, Kentucky, weighing 1400. In fourth place was entry number 75, Callie DeRossi from Sulphur, Kentucky, weighing 1490. In fifth place, entry number 94, Shade Potter, Mount Sterling, Kentucky, 1472. Sixth place was entry number 78, exhibit of Bristol Holloway, Olmsted, Kentucky, 1450. As soon as they get them weighed through, and we're going to show for champion crossbred steer here at the Kentucky State Fair. This will be followed by market heifers, and then Kentucky Proud champion, and then we will take a 15-minute break before we start steer showmanship. So we got champion crossbred. 15-minute break between Kentucky Proud and showmanship. Next will be crossbred champion, then the next crossbred champion, then heifers. We got one class of market heifers, then Kentucky Proud, then a 15-minute break, and then we will start showmanship. We're now showing for a crossbred champion steer out of Class 17. Your winner was entry 96, shown by Carter Redmond from Ekron, Kentucky. Out of Class 18, entry 98, Macy Shelton from Paris, Kentucky. Out of Class 19, Kyra Moore from Fountain Run, Kentucky. Out of Class 20, Addison Simpson from Crittenden, Kentucky. And out of Class 21, entry 73, Bailey Blevins from South Shore, Kentucky. This is Crossbred Champion Steer.
Well, folks, let's put our hands together and congratulate these crossbred exhibitors. Tremendous lineup of cattle. Kids working hard, doing a great, great job. Obviously, I don't have to tell everybody how much effort it takes to get these cattle this time of year to look this way. Tremendous set. Love these crossbreds and working through them. These first two classes, pair them up and talk about them. These two cattle are really good in terms of body type for me. Love the rib cage, the body volume and depth, the softness that they have. I think they proportion really well. They're sound. You know, today as we come out here in the heat to capture champion crossbred, they probably don't have quite the market readiness, endpoint look of where maybe the other three do. But young people, these are two really good steers. I like their kind. I like their type that they have. They give you a good look and combined all the market quality traits into that. I just think they need a little more time, a little more power and oomph to kind of compete, because the three behind them, that's where the heat comes in for this champion crossbred, and they're all three very good in my mind. I think they're high quality. I think they give you the right kind of look. They're all just kind of subtly different in what they kind of bring to the lineup. This Bronco face one, you know, that was a good class, a good pair of them in that class that you could go back and forth. You talk about one that's got the right look from the side and his silhouette and his lines, you just can't make him any better. He's so pretty and attractive about his head, nice in his neck. The way he blends back is incredible. His smoothness and the way that everything fits together in proportions is just absolutely incredible, and still one that has some muscle shape over his top, has some thickness and dimension when you get behind him. You know, the interesting thing is that when you judge them, we look at them in class, we bring them back out here, and you still look at them as individuals, but this is where the comparison and studying from this one compared to that one comes in. And the question mark you have on this steer is there enough of him compared to the two that stand behind him? By himself, that steer there, he's got a lot of the great pieces and neat parts to him, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the lightest muscle, or he's light muscled, but he's by no means the heaviest muscle when we compare him to those other two. So I'm just trying to talk about him and break him down for you. I love that calf. I think there's a lot of good in him. Gets out and goes extremely good. You just question mark if there's quite enough steer here today to man up against those two that stand behind him. This white-tailed steer that comes out of the next class, he hit me really hard when he come in through the gate. That is one powerful steer. I love the hip in this calf. He's so stout and wide at his pins and square when you get him on the standstill and study this steer. You get in and study the top side of his skeleton. He's so incredible over his back. He squares up so stout and full over his rib, wide and deep in his loin, very dimensional. The rib cage in this calf is perfect for me. You study him in his forerib and the way he blends back through his rear rib and flank, even having that white flank, because it's tough when they're white flank. They naturally want to look shallower, but that calf is just perfectly dead level with dimension and shape of his rib cage and body, which I think is really, really neat, and it's hard to do to get that kind of width, the chest, that kind of power into him, still having that right kind of rib and body. And still a steer, we step off to the side. He proportions and balances extremely good from his head and neck, shoulder attachment all the way back. If we're looking to change this steer, the one thing, and he did it in class, and I didn't want to talk about it because I don't like to get nitpicky on really good ones because I know how hard it is to get them here. He wants to drop his pins just a tick when we get him in motion. If we could just keep those pin sets up just a little bit when he gets out and goes, I think that calf really, really, you solve a lot of just these little minor problems he has, but that's a nice steer. Our heavyweight steer we just talked about. A lot the same kind of rig as the white-tailed one ahead of him. You talk about stoutness of feature and bone. He's incredibly good. He's big forearm. He's powerful in the way he's constructed. He's another big-hipped steer that's wide pin. He's got the right kind of thickness for me and still market readiness as we get him and study him. When you step right in behind this calf, we talked to him in class, he does get a little flatter down at the base of his quarter. He's not as deep tying in his muscle system as I think the steer right ahead of him. He gets just a little bit narrower right at the ground when he goes, and I'd like to loosen him up just a tick in his hock and the way he wants to go as we put him in motion. But exceptional set of steers. Congratulations, young people. I described them to you. I think they're awfully good. We'll go out and we'll pick your champion reserve crossbred at this time.
Congratulations. Your champion crossbred comes out of class 20, Addison Simpson from Crittenden, Kentucky. Deer weighed 1385. Congratulations. We need entry number 80, Zyler Imler. help you any, did it? Congratulations, your reserve champion comes out of class 21, reserve champion crossbred entry 73, shown by Bailey Blevins from South Shore, Kentucky. Now for third, we need second place, 89, Sierra Miller, please. Congratulations, third place, entry number 90, Kyra Moore, Fountain Run, Kentucky. Congratulations to our crossbred exhibitors. Again, Addison Simpson has your champion. Reserve champion was Bailey Blevins, and third place was Kyra Moore. We're now ready for our market heifers. You bring those? Oh, excuse me. We got to do Reserve Kentucky Proud. We need Sarah Shields, Briar Osborne. Back in, please. We need your two steers for Champion Cross, Reserve and Kentucky Proud. Reserve, right? Reserve champion will be entry number 91 in Kentucky Proud for Crossbreds. That's Briar Osborne from Greenup, Kentucky. Congratulations. This is our final class of market cattle here today. These are the heifers, three in this class.
here in our market heifer division. Just a trio of heifers, but a little interesting to sort and give and take. The solid black heifer to me, bigger outline, longer spine, more extended than the spotted up heifer in second. I think she moves just a little more comfortably out of her hip and hind leg when she gets in motion. A smooth made, attractive kind of heifer that still has some top shape to her. I would like to drop this heifer down and give her some more body dimension and volumes, particularly back to her rear rib and flank. But I think overall her extra length, her extra softness, the way she sets down off of both ends of her skeleton, I think she becomes your winner. Black and white heifers, I love her body type. She's a better ribbed heifer. She's softer made. She's deeper flanked. She's a better bodied individual. Just wants to get just a tick tight in the way she's wanting to travel. A little more upright in her shoulder and her front leg structure. We'd like to lay her back there, soften her up on her hind legs. Slicker haired heifer that completes a class, another functional heifer. She's better off of both ends of her skeleton. She just gets a little shorter neck, a little plainer about her look, as well as her muscle shape. He just stouten her up, I think, her to make her more competitive here today.
Thank you, Judge Yoakum. On the market heifers, class 21, your winner was entry number 115, exhibited by Colton Kearns, Union, Kentucky, weighing 1,070. Second place was entry number 117, shown by Annabelle Smith from Ewing, Kentucky, weighing 901. And third place was entry number 18, exhibited by Danica Street from Sonora, Kentucky, weighed 973. That concludes our market classes today. We're getting ready to select our Kentucky Proud Champion Reserve, and then we will take a 15-minute break before showmanship. Congratulations to our winners. Again, all these champions and reserves will end up the champion drive here in this arena tomorrow night. I think we start activities at 5:30, and this is the first year we're going to have the breeding animals in there as well. So congratulations to all our steer and heifer winners.
We need Hadley Campbell. You've got two Kentucky Proud champions in the red Angus, champion and reserve. Hadley Campbell to the makeup area immediately. Okay, we're going to move the champion, breed champion, Kentucky Proud, and they'll exit the ring, and your reserve breed champion, Kentucky Proud, will come in for the judge's evaluation. Okay, we're ready to bring in the reserve breed champion, Kentucky Prouds, reserve breed champions. Okay, we've finished this evaluation. We're now going to take a 15-minute break. 3 o'clock sharp, we will start the steer showmanship. 3 o'clock sharp.